Anh có tin vào chuyện du hành vượt thời gian không? Tôi tin á, người ta có thể vượt thời gian qua 3 cách: con người, đồ vật và nơi chốn.
Sẵn trên đường về, xẹt qua lo đám kim điện tử giùm tao một cái.
Thằng khốn nạn, mày biết mày là mình đó.
Nè, cậu đang làm gì vậy? Cậu có được làm vậy?
Chuyện gì vậy má?
Nó định đốt đồ hát của mình đó con.
Ở đâu tự nhiên vô đây giở trò du côn vậy?
Thiếu nợ không trả còn la làng nữa.
Còn thiếu nhiêu á, tối mai đạo diễn xong tôi trả hết. Tôi nói là tôi làm.
Coi vậy em cũng khí thế quá ha.
Tại mấy người đã kiếm chuyện trước chứ bộ. Mà nói lộn thì có gì hay ho chứ.
Phải vậy để cho tụi nó bớt coi thường cách hát.
Yêu đi con, có yêu có mất mát, rồi mày không diễn cũng ra.
Congratulations on your film, Song Lang, which we totally loved. And we think it's the first ever LGBT film we've seen from Vietnam. Without giving it all away, can you tell us what your film is about?
Song Lang is about a debt collector in Vietnam in 1980s and how his life has totally changed and take on a different course after he encountered a Vietnamese folk opera performer. The story takes place in Vietnam in 1980s, in the late 1980s, and it's pretty much a nostalgic homage to my childhood and to Cải Lương, which is a art form that I was obsessed ever since I was little.
Really?
Yes.
So where did the actual story come from, though?
It's actually inspired by one of the very famous gangster in Vietnam. His name was Nam Can. He's a notorious gangster in the 90s, I believe, and then he was captured and executed. But he was famously known for being very supportive of Cải Lương actors and performers. And they always come to him if they need support with new shows or need money. And he was always very welcoming and supporting of them. So I thought it was an interesting story of how art doesn't discriminate which part of society you're coming from. Art's able to touch and connect all kind of people, even though with the exteriors of like a tough and cruel gangster, but inside he's still able to connect and see the beauty in art, especially in Vietnamese folk opera, which being viewed as very in a way feminine. So here this tough gangster guy, but he can see the beauty and not ashamed to express his appreciation and his love for this art form. Originally, I had him. The story was him and a female opera performer. But then I thought, well, let's just push the envelope a little bit more. What would be more interesting if not only he loved Cải Lương, but he's obsessed with a male performer instead. And that's how it started from there. And one of my thing is I want to do a LGBT gay themed film without all the elements of a typical LGBT themed film you see, which is sex and nudity. And I want to see if I take those elements out, am I still going to be able to capture audience attention and move them? And so that's why I decided like there's not going to be any of like the typical of a gay film.
Yeah. So the boy who was obsessed, is that based on you?
Yeah, I guess, yes, in a way. There's my DNA in both Yong and Ling Feng character as well. And as a matter of fact, Ling Feng is my birth name.
Oh, really? So,
Yes.
it's explain to us, for people who haven't seen it, the Kai Long is so like a folklore opera. It's not grand opera. So it's a traditional thing that's been going on with working class people for years.
It started from the working class, I believe,
Mm-hmm.
on the countryside.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and it's 100% Vietnamese.
Yeah.
It's not inspired by the Chinese or
Yeah.
anything like that. And therefore also that's one of the reasons Cải Lương got a stigma of being for the low class people.
Mm-hmm.
And also most of Cải Lương performers come from the countryside, peasants. They would have to leave home at 12 or 13.
Mm-hmm.
Never get to have full education, and they just follow this troupe, and that's how they get their training and become big stars. So they have a stigma of like, oh, that's for low class,
Yeah.
and Cải Lương performer is not well educated.
Mm-hmm.
But that stigma changed
Yeah.
over time, and and that's one of the reasons why, even though Cải Lương was very popular in Vietnam, but at the same time, people really look down
Mm-hmm.
on Cải Lương and the performers as well.
Yeah, as an outsider, it was wonderful that you included so many scenes of it, and not short scenes. They were really good scenes. But your visual image of Saigon was fabulous in the early 90s. But
Thank
you left when you were young. So where
Yeah.
did this come from? Your authenticity?
I think I left around 13. So I think that's the age that enough for me to remember, and it stuck with me this entire time. I think if I left a couple years earlier, it won't stay in my head as strong as when I left at 13. And I think also 1980 is a very special time in Vietnam because at that time the country is not open yet. We in our little bubble, the future is uncertainty, but at the same time, there is some kind of romantic and safe in our own little bubble. And all of that, I guess it has a huge impact on me, and it just stay with you.
Yeah.
Because there's not much distraction going on. There was no internet. We didn't have any import goods from the door was not open to America. So we this is all we have.
Yeah.
And that's why also one of the main reasons why Cải Lương was really blooming for the second time, for the second golden age of Cải Lương, because we have nothing else to see.
But
Not allowed to see it.
you
Yeah.
gave a very romantic image of the town. I wanted to visit it straight away. Why did you choose this as your first feature film?
So I want the first film to has to have something that means a lot to me, and I have to able to put in a lot of myself into that film. And to me, Cải Lương is one of the main thing in my life, and for me to make a film about Cải Lương is complete a circle, finishing a dream, a childhood dream that I was never able to finish, because my dream was to become a Cải Lương performer when I was a child. So especially now in 2019, Cải Lương is almost disappear in Vietnam. Not completely, it's still around, but the golden era is never gonna come back again.
Yeah.
Which is understandable. Time has changed, but so I always tell myself that I want to do something for this art form to capture it, at least just for myself.
Yeah.
Or if I'm lucky, I'm able to show it to the world and at least like, here, this is what we had once upon a time. Not only, China has Peking opera, Japanese has kabuki, Vietnam has something special too.
Yeah.
Not just war when people think of Vietnam.
No. I know you showed it in Beijing because you won an award there. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Have you showed the film in Vietnam yet?
Yes, actually, Vietnam is our first world premiere. We have a national theatrical release in Vietnam.
And how is the gay aspect thought about in Vietnam?
Actually, the gay aspect of the film is not a big deal at all. The only, if anything, people were complaining that it was not clear enough that this is a gay love story.
Okay.
They wanted to be a kiss or touching, or like to make it more obvious to them that is a gay film, or these are the gay love story. To me, it's very obvious. This is a gay romance.
Absolutely.
I don't know how to make it more clear. I mean, every hint, every word that they exchange, to me, only lovers or a romantic relationship. But romantic doesn't mean that they have to have sex.
Yeah. I totally agree.
And love is bigger than that. You know, this is the touch of two souls. And Vietnam is quite open with gay theme and LGBT in general. They're very supportive and open-minded. So that is not the reason why the gay subject was subdued.
Yeah. Are you the start of a new genre of Vietnamese queer cinema?
Actually, there has been many gay-themed films in Vietnam before, and they're much more out there.
Yeah.
But I think this is the first time in Vietnam, at least, people see two so-called gay characters, because it's not, to them, it's not obvious it's gay. That doesn't have all the stereotype characteristic or lifestyle that you see on screen, especially in Vietnam, where the gay character usually super stereotyped and using as a comedy for a comedy effect. It's being shown as two men. They have to be feminine. They don't have to be over exaggerated. They don't have any typical stereotype storylines or characteristic.
So in a way, yours is a first film for them, because it's.
I guess yes.
What's next for the film? You're doing a circuit the whole of the summer?
Until now, to the end of the year, we're still traveling around the world on the festival circuit, and I think maybe the film will have its film festival live until summer of next year.
Okay.
To complete the 2 years, and then hopefully we're gonna have theatrical release. We already have national theatrical release in Tokyo, in Poland, and hopefully it's gonna be in US.
Good.
In 2020.
What's next for you? Do you know yet, or are you still attached to this?
Yes, I am attached to a new project that we're already starting now, but we're not going to shoot until 2020. And it's still going to be very true to my aesthetic in terms of storytelling and genre and style. But I'm always nervous to talk about a new project which haven't finished, especially when it comes to filmmaking, because you never know what's going to happen. And I'm afraid if I'm talking about it, it's not going to happen. Okay. So
we don't talk about it. But thank you again. I thought the film was beautiful. I see lots of films, and to me it was obviously a gay love story. And I'm not going to give much away why I liked it, but it was exceptional and well
thank
done.
you so much.
And we look forward to talking to you in 2 years' time.
Yes.
Your next project.
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
Good luck in Tel Aviv. It's a great film festival.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bữa đó mà tôi không tới kịp, anh có tính đục đống đồ hát đó thiệt không nhỉ?
Sao bữa nay tao thấy mày nôn nao quá vậy con?